Welcome back to another episode of the Everyday Joy podcast. I'm your host, Ash Couchman, and I cannot wait to find moments of joy with you today. If you haven't already become a part of the Everyday Joy Facebook community group, would you head over there now? There is a link in the show notes. Become a part of all the chats and just be a part of the community that loves this podcast, loves to dive into the Word of God. I cannot wait for you guys to hear today's conversation. Let's hear today's words to live by.
Away from stupid and senseless arguments. These only lead to trouble. That is from 2 Timothy 2 verse 23.
Tilly, I literally just want to giggle because I just imagine like Timothy writing this and he's like, guys, stay away from stupid, senseless arguments. He's like, I'm so done with y'all.
I was literally thinking, where else in the Bible does it say stupid? Like, can we say stupid in the Bible?
I feel like we probably can.
It needs to be stupeth or something.
Stupeth. I know. I just think that this verse is fantastic. I love it because I have seen the way stupid and senseless arguments about things that do not matter cause so much disunity in families, in relationships, in friendships. Trouble. Like, I reckon that's one of the first things that I learnt being in a relationship was sometimes you just got to let it go.
Oh,
like,
absolutely. Pick your battles.
Pick your battles.
Yep.
And like sometimes it is not worth it for the sake of unity, for the sake of love, for the sake of keeping healthy relationships.
Totally.
If it's not...
Well, I mean, even in like relationships, you know, do you want to be right or do you want to be working on your marriage?
Completely.
Like, I think that there are so many, and I don't know who needs to hear that, but there are so many of us who can get so fixated on winning the argument, but they're over trivial things like, well, whose fault was it that the dishwasher wasn't unpacked last night? Well, who was meant to drive us this morning because, oh, well, I drove you last night, so it's your turn to do it today. Or, you know, did you put the washing out? No, you didn't. Like all those things, I think we can get so fixated on like, I'm right and you are wrong and I need to win this argument. But that literally is stupid and senseless and it hurts the other person and it will only lead to trouble. Like,
and I think with that, it only leads to deeper problems.
Oh, 100%.
Like I even, you know, obviously having only been married for, I think it was 2 months yesterday.
Congrats.
2 months yesterday.
Oh my gosh.
Something that I remember reading once was when you get married, like not to keep a tally of wrongs.
100%.
And I'm so glad that I had read that. And if you're newly married, if you're getting married, or even if you've been married and you feel like you've been keeping tally, this is a great opportunity to go, okay, I'm going to give it to the Lord, every single one of those things. If you have it written down physically, now's your time to delete it.
Yep. Tear it up.
Throw it out, delete it off your phone, because keeping a tally of wrongs, it's like with the Lord, like when we apologize, he doesn't keep a tally.
Yeah.
You know, he doesn't keep score.
Absolutely.
When we ask for forgiveness and we come to him, it's a clean slate.
Yeah.
And so I think...
And it says like, you know, as far from the east is from the west.
Yeah.
That's right. That's the opposite.
Yeah. I think that it's such a good reminder to go, like, don't keep a tally of wrongs. And I know how easy it can be. Because, you know, you go, man, I thought... I was going to say so-and-so, but I was like, I only have one husband.
Who could it be, Ash?
Who could it be? But I was going to be like, oh, you know, but it's normal things. Like you said, oh, I thought you'd clean that up today.
Yeah, because I cooked dinner.
Because I cooked dinner and I did this or whatever, right? And the thing is, if you keep a tally like that, it will lead to stupid, senseless arguments. So we need to be people who learn to forgive quickly, learn to move on quickly.
And be gracious.
And holy. Yeah. And be gracious. But I think as well, like we said at the very beginning, some things are not worth it. And you need to decide for yourself if it's worth it.
Yeah.
And to be brutally honest, 95 to 99% of the time, it will not be worth it.
Yeah.
And I think it's really great to do like check-ins. And, you know, we're kind of talking about this in relationships and friendships sort of scenarios. There is no point in arguing about something that does not matter just to prove a point, just to feel right.
Just to be right.
Because at the end of the day, it will only cause disunity and it will only cause a wedge between you and that other person.
Yeah. I mean, this is applied as well. Like, even think about your time in church, you know, like I'm sure, who knows, maybe this is what led to the breakaway of so many denominations more than people want to admit.
Yeah.
Because that doesn't unify the church.
It's
it
true.
doesn't unify the body. And you don't know how many just people leaving the church in general and starting their own church, even if it's not a different denomination. People get offended by something. They don't like the way that this leader runs that department, or the way that the pastor phrased this sentence, or how they do whatever. And then they go, nah, leaving. And they just, trouble is following them all the way along.
And what's so hard is often it's not an intentional thing, right?
Yeah.
Because when we get hurt and we feel hurt, those emotions are real, right? But sometimes I think what I like about this verse is that it tells us to stay away from those things, right? It's an empowerment to us to go, okay, when I feel those emotions, when I disagree, the disagreement isn't wrong, right? And hear us out. Disagreeing, questioning, asking people to be accountable, they're not wrong things in themselves. It's how we're going about it. And if we're going to allow a stupid, senseless argument to be something that is so important to us that it will disunify us, take us out of community, and all these different things. And I'm not just talking church. I'm talking friendships, relationships, whatever it is.
Before you post that comment on Instagram, is this a stupid and senseless argument? Is it going to bear fruit? Is that person going to find Jesus because of the little troll comment you left underneath their video?
Yeah.
Probably not.
And here's the thing, right? I think often we don't look at things with how it will land, right?
Yeah.
We react based on how we feel. We react based on our frustrations. But like you just said, does what you say point people back to Jesus? Because if that's our true north, right? If that is our goal, is that our lives would be a testament, that our lives would point people back to Jesus, is having that argument about something that really does not matter worthwhile? And like it's hard to present this in a balanced way, because like I said at the start, we're not saying that if there are deep problems or deep issues,
bell curve, right?
Yeah,
generally speaking,
we're talking generally. If it is something that does not matter, let it go. Like, honestly, I have to do this all the time because I feel like I can be really stubborn sometimes.
Oh, damn,
and I really had to be humbled because I felt like I just needed to learn to let some things go. Even I think getting in a relationship, moving out of home,
living with someone else.
Me and my sister, my poor sister, we would have the stupidest arguments. And I think sometimes when it's the people that you're closest to, when it's your, family and siblings, sometimes they're the ones that we go, oh yeah, but that's just how siblings are. Yeah. That's just how.
You kind of got like that safety net where everything's going to be fine.
But I wish that I was more convicted about this back then, back when my sister and I were teenagers, to go, was it really worth those dumb arguments that left 100%. Us not talking, that left us, to be honest, I think that some of the dumb arguments that my sister and I had caused some deep wounds over a life, like when you live 18 years of life together in the same room, it's like those stupid, senseless arguments, although may have been trivial at the time, they create wounds long term.
Yeah, they can.
And so I think it's such a good reminder to let it go, to learn to drop things that don't need to be held. And it's even that thing of, if you are in a scenario, and maybe it'll happen today, maybe it'll happen tomorrow, maybe next week, where you feel that, and I know everyone will understand what I mean, it's like you get that like bubbling of frustration in your deep stomach and you're like, oh my gosh, you are so wrong. If it is not worth it, like, I really want you to get into the habit of asking God, Lord, is this worth it? Or Lord, is this a senseless argument? Is this a senseless thing to say? Because we don't want a life that leads to trouble.
No. Will it bear fruit?
Exactly. So I think if you're in it now, maybe next time it comes up, challenge yourself to ask that question. Just to yourself, just personally. Maybe next time your partner does something that triggers you.
It loses all of my hair ties.
It's a real problem. No. But take the time to ask. Take the time to reflect and think, okay, can I step away from this? Can I remove myself and not cause this disunified moment? How can I not get involved in, as Timothy said, the stupid and senseless arguments? How can we ensure that we are fostering those peaceful, loving relationships that always in the end will glorify Jesus? Right. I cannot wait to dive even deeper into the Word of God with you tomorrow, but until then, I pray you're able to find moments of joy.